Erev Shabbos, Parshas, Bishalach. We have the Kriyas Yamsuf this week. We finally get out of Mitzrayim. Whew! Let me share with you something more ridiculous that I found. I found a shot this week from Unclis. Want to hear a Vort from Unclis? Unclis Ayeh. It's supposed to be Yoga and Elena. Here's what happened. The beginning of Shlishi, Klal Yisrael finds themselves at riverside of Yamsuf. Ahead is water. Can't go in water. You look to the side. You have wild animals over there, you have a desert over here. Dangerous both directions. You look behind, there's nothing between me and the Egyptians. Imagine you have an escaped concentration camp. And the Nazis chase after them, and then you have the entire regime, the entire Nazi regime, standing 15 feet away from the entire escaped Yidden, with blood in their eyes, with spears in their hands, machine guns. The only thing standing between you and your captors from just a moment ago is the Ananiah covered. Chazal tell us they looked up and they saw all the malachim, all the terrible malachim of all the nation coming down to destroy them from Lamala. They had nowhere to go. So what does Klal Yisrael do? We daven, right? What's the response? Rebbeinu Shalom says, Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, "Ma titzak elai." Why are you still davening? Daber b'nei Yisrael v'yisa'u. Go talk to Klal Yisrael. Tell them v'yidaber. Tell them strong. Give them a command. Chevra, onwards. Onwards where? Onwards to the water. Okay. Takes a lot of koyach. You need nachshon ben amenodah for this. That's how it went down. If you look at Unclis sneaks in the most pellet you can imagine. Ma titzak elai. Why are you davening to me? Says the Rebbeinu Shalom zogt Unclis. Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, I answered your tefillas. Now tell Klal Yisrael going to the Yamsuf. Tell them to travel. Unclis translates the words Ma titzak elai, that I already answered your tefillas. That's what those words mean. Sometimes we're davening to the Rebbeinu Shalom, and we feel like the Rebbeinu Shalom is telling us, what are you davening to? We go, come on. And we feel shut down, we feel dismissed. Unclis tells us, do you know what those words mean? Do you know why you feel like Hashem's not listening anymore? Because He already answered you. Everything's in motion. The Yamsuf is set to split from the time of Brias HaOlam. Everything is ready. You just have to walk. Take the next step. You can't be paralyzed where you are. You daven. That's your ishtadlus. Hashem answered you. Keep going. If you keep standing in the same place and just crying, you're not going to get anywhere. You cried out. Tati heard you. Tati said, I hear you, I answer you, go ahead. Now it's your turn to take the next step. That's what the Rebbe was telling Moshe Rabbeinu, saying, you guys don't chapa. I answered the tefillas. Now's not the time for davening. You davened. You did your job. But you have to get out of this slump. You have to get out of this place where you feel like there's no way out. Because you know what? The path is right in front of you. You just didn't take the step. You just have to walk down it. We say in Shabbos, Ayeh mekom kavod, right? All the malachim know everything. The malachim know exactly what's going on in the Olamos, right? And they say Ayeh mekom kavod. Right? They're going crazy. Ayeh mekom kavod. And it sounds like a question. Ayeh means where is mekom kavod? Where is the place of the glory of the Rebbeinu Shalom? The Mekabalim tell us that Ayeh is Es Yoim HaShabbos. That's what Ayeh means. That's what Ayeh stands for. It's Rashi Tevis. It's acronym. It's an acronym. Acronym for Es Yoim HaShabbos. Ayeh Mekom Kavod. Es Yoim HaShabbos is the Mekom Kavod. When you want to connect to the Rebbeinu Shalom, it's not even a question. We spend so much of our time saying, "Where's God?" But really, the question is, "Where's God?" Same question. Ayeh mekom kavod. It's a question, but it's actually a statement. Ayeh mekom kavod. He's right here. The version when he answered, I feel sometimes you just don't realize it. I don't remember. It could be I said the story already. It's a crazy story. There was a Yid living in Europe, and him and his friend decided that there's no money in Europe. We have to go to America. America is the land of gold, right? Eretz Yisrael is milk and honey. So, of to figure out why America's gold and not milk and honey. What's the difference? But they decided they're going to go to America, make a couple of bucks, send it back home, then they'll come home. They'll have enough money to live on. We don't need so much money. We just have to go to America, make a couple of bucks, make our parnasa. Right? There's some people that make money until they die. Right? That's the goal. How much money do you want to make? I just want to make money. There's no goal. Right? If you look at a healthy person in business, he says, this is how much money I need to make, then I will retire and stop doing... I'll get off the treadmill. Now I'm in shape and I'm going to enjoy my life. Otherwise, you spend your whole life working out to be healthy, to work out, to be healthy, to work out, to be healthy. Right? So these 2 years, then they went over to America. They started a business in Baruch Hashem. They were very successful. And after, it was a 5-year program. After 5 years, they built up the business enough and they saved up enough money. They were able to go back. And they bought 2 boat tickets back home to Europe. And everything was going on very, very well, except 2 days before the boat took off, before it left dock, let's call him Shmuley, finds out that he's in Avelus. One of his Kohen passed away, and he says, I have to sit Shiva. The problem is that if he sits Shiva, his boat's leaving in 2 days. That's in the middle of his Shiva, and he says, this is not right. He decided, his partner said, look, I'll wait with you if you want, I'll cancel my trip. He said, that's silly. Go home to your family. They've been waiting for you for 5 years. Could you imagine? 5 years, his family didn't have a father. She didn't have her husband. For 5 years, it was a tremendous sacrifice. I said, go home to your family. I'll get it from Sheva in a couple of days, and then I'll book a new ticket. Don't worry. I have enough savings for that. The Seder. In this business, there are a whole bunch of different partners that they had, and one of the arrangements was that now that we're moving back, they passed on the business to one of these non-Jewish partners. And one of these partners showed up during Shiva to pay his respects. And Shmuley is sitting there, and his mind is like all over the place. He just wants to get home. And he's in Avelas that tears a person's heart apart. And this partner comes in and he says, look, I have to tell you something. This business deal came out. If we don't sign the papers now, we're going to lose a fortune. We have to do this. And Shmuley said, do me a favor. Can you wait a few days? Wait till after Shiva. And I could think straight a little bit. Before I go, I'll sign whatever papers you need. He said, no, this is really important. If they're walking out of the office tomorrow morning if I don't have the paper signed. Shmuley said, okay, bring me the papers, whatever. And he signs all the papers. And his partner leaves. And he said, whatever it was. And he left. 7-8 days later, Shmuley gets out of Shiva. He goes to the bank to take out some money to buy a new boat ticket back to Europe, back home. And the bank says, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have any money for you. He says, what do you mean? He says, your account's empty. He says, who emptied it? He said, just 5 days ago, your partner came in and said that you signed over your assets. Those papers that he signed were all bank documents, sending every single penny that Shmuley owned, gave it over to his non-Jewish partner. And his partner, obviously, was not to be found. It's been 5 years since he's been home. He can't believe it. He went through every stage of grief. He's furious, he's in denial, he went nuts. He was depressed, and all he's supposed to do. And he had to write that letter home. Say, Chaimshi, I'm not going to be home. Tell the kids I love them. I have to make a couple more dollars. Hell, can you imagine the suffering that he had? The realization of what was just stolen from him. Years of his life. The last 5 years and the next years of his life. And now he has to start from scratch. He has no plan. His partner, his friend is back in Europe. And he starts from the bottom. Some people know him. People knew he was an honest guy. And when they heard what happened, they hired him. They gave him a little job. And soon he started working his way back up. The problem was that in order to work his way back up, he had to be an American citizen. There's some positions, in order to be able to interact, to get into certain places, you have to be American. So he learns the Declaration of Independence, or whatever it takes to become American. You know, all the things that Americans don't know. So he learns all that stuff. He takes his test. He gets his American passport. Now his social security number. In those days it was like, now it's like 15 digits. There it was like, wait, your number 16. Okay, scratch. 16th American. It's a long time ago. So he's American. Shmuel's American. And Baruch Hashem, he had tremendous siyata d'shmaya. Now, people trusted him. He already had his contacts, and he's able to work his way back up enough to make enough money to go back home. Did I mention the year was 1936? He gets back home, and soon after he landed and settled back home, it was incredible to see his family again. The rumbles of World War II started shaking underground. What are you supposed to do? People tried getting visas. People tried running. I went to their Rabbanim. I had no idea what to do. Nobody had any clue what was going to happen. All the yeshivas went to Vilna. It was terrifying. We know for most people it was just too late. By the time people thought what was actually happening. But Shmuley was an American citizen. Shmuley went to the American consulate, and he got himself and his entire family visas, and they all went home. Shmuley was in America, davening to the British and begging him, please, just let me be Matzliach, let me make a couple of bucks so I can take care of my family. What was the answer? The Baruch Shalom took every penny that he had. The Baruch Shalom had the shliach come and steal every penny, everything that he saw, every minute, every bit of koyach that he put into this business was gone in a second. He just wanted to go home. He just wanted to be with his family. The Baruch Shalom said, like Uncle says, I answered the tefillah, stop davening, you're good. Never stop davening. You don't understand, your tefillahs were answered, Yankel. Your tefillahs were answered. You are going to be with your family. In order to be able to be with your family, you shouldn't all be wiped out. You have to lose your business. You have to become American. That is how you're going to spend your time with your family. And we'll be able to hear their Baruch Shalom's answers. We'll be able to swallow the nose with a spoonful of sugar. Be able to taste the deliciousness of having a conversation with the Rabbanim Shalom. And be zoichet to only see the good in our lives, only know Besuras Taivas, and experience the Geula Shleima Ben Meir V'Imenu Amen. Ayeh mekoim givayday, Ayeh mekoim givayday, Givoyinay malay malay yahilam, Ayeh mekoim givayday, Ayeh mekoim givayday, Ayeh mekoim givayday, Givoyinay malay malay yahilam, Ayeh mekoim givayday, Givoyinay malay malay yahilam, Bishar son shoyalim shoyalim zelo ze'ayeh, mekoim givayday, Bishar son shoyalim shoyalim zelo ze'ayeh, mekoim givayday, Ayeh mekoim givayday, Ayeh mekoim givayday, Givayday malay malay yahilam, Ayeh mekoim givayday. Good Shabbos.